Hi, Yang. Welcome to the Illuminate podcast. We're thrilled to have you as our guest today, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the interview.
So, I'll just jump right into our first question then. Let's start by discussing your educational journey. Could you walk us through the path that you took in post secondary education and how it has led to your current position? Was this career trajectory something you had always anticipated for yourself?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer the second question first. This is definitely not something I anticipated before. So I guess I'm the bad example. So for my university, I was majored in actuarial science. It's for those who doesn't know actuarial science, it's one of the math major, a combination of finance and statistics. So yeah, I chose that major because I like math, and learning in the university, I realized it's different than what I originally think. So I was a little bit lost. So at that time, I was trying to explore something different, like computer science in my university life. So yeah, after I graduate, I don't want to continue the path for actuarial science. So that's why I decided to move on and try something new. And it leads to where I am right now. I'm right now business architect in Scotiabank.
Yeah, that's an amazing journey. And I like that you highlighted that it doesn't always work exactly how you plan, but whatever happens is meant to be. I love that saying as well. So I'll just move on to our next question then. As
Sure.
a business architect at Scotiabank, which is your current role that you mentioned, what are your primary responsibilities on a day to day basis? And what aspects of this role do you find particularly fulfilling?
So I'm responsible for high level solution design as well as the planning for the roadmap. For Scotiabank, there are multiple projects coming in, right? So we don't know which project we'll need to work on next. So from business architect, we need to gathering the requirement as much as possible, understand which problem we need to solve, and come up with a solution plan. Once we have that one, we estimate, for example, let's say how much effort we need from each team. And from there, we're going to look at, oh, we already have a lot of things on our plate. What will be the priority? And based on those ones, we design the upcoming roadmap for each team. For my everyday life, there are a lot of things which is unknown, and we need to solve a lot of problems. I really like learning new things and solving problems. So yeah, so from these 2 points, I feel very fulfilling because there are a lot of challenges I need to resolve, and there are a lot of new things I need to learn on a daily basis.
Definitely. I can imagine that that keeps day to day very interesting with new projects. And there's definitely a lot of satisfaction with solving those problems. So I see where you're coming from there. I'm going to pass it off to Crystal to go ahead and ask the next few questions.
Hi, so my question to you is we understand that you have previously held positions as a business analyst and system analyst at renowned organizations like TD and RBC. In what ways does your current role differ?
Nice question. So, yeah, I would like to say there are many different things. The roles are different. For those who doesn't familiar with this area, I'm going to have quick introduction about the different roles. There are three titles which are very similar: be business analyst, business system analyst, and business architect. So for business architect, as mentioned, we're defining the high level solution for the project and the roadmap. And also for BA, which is business analyst, so they are gathering the requirement for a project, but they are acting on business side. For example, let's say, there are many regulatory requirements. So the business person, they understand about the bank and they also understand about the requirement. They need to narrow down the requirement for these requirements. What should the bank do to meet those requirements? Whereas business system analysts, they are working on the technical side. So we get the requirement from the BA and they need to collaborate with the technical folks, including developer, QA, to working on the solution that can meet the business requirement. So that is called business system analyst. Those three roles, they are very similar, but the roles and responsibility are different. Another thing which is different than the previous role is the area. So B, BA or BSA within one bank and one team can be very different as the BA or BSA in another team and bank. For the different banks roles, I tried different departments. For TD, I tried capital markets. RBC, I tried big data, those kind of things. And for my current role, I'm in digital team. So implementing the mobile application and website for Scotiabank.
You have to do a lot of balancing in your day-to-day tasks. That being said, on top of balancing, I'm sure communication is a must. So that leads to my next question. So collaboration and effective communication with diverse teams and departments appear to be crucial in your BA and BSA roles. How do you ensure successful collaboration to achieve desired outcomes?
Nice question. For my current role, which is the BA, I need to interact with many stakeholders from different teams, right? The key thing is I need to make sure that all the key stakeholders are on the same page. And we also need to write the right communication method, meaning that, you can send an email, you can send them a Teams message or have a quick call. And depend on the stakeholder, we're trying to utilize the tools we have and trying to make sure that we pass the right message to all the key stakeholders. Mm, and one tip that I want to share is when we communicate with external teams, not everything is a happy thing. Sometimes we may face issues, bugs, those kind of things. So I recommend to look forward instead of look back. So instead of saying that why you did something wrong, we can phrase it in the way that here is the issue. How can we collaborate and resolve this issue? So that helps me make a lot of friends with the external holders and successfully deliver a lot of projects.
That's some really great advice I think our listeners can benefit from, to look forward instead of looking backwards. So collaboration is definitely, it's a daily practice. So according to your expertise, what are other essential qualities that aspiring business analysts and architects should possess? And are there any specific technical skills or soft skills that you believe hold significant value in this profession?
So for that one, I think, yeah, as mentioned, communication is one of the key skills, right? And another thing is learning skills, because for my current role, I would like to say 80% of the issue we face on a daily basis, I don't know what are they and how to resolve it. We need to find the right expertise, learning from them. Also, sometimes we need to go to Google and the website from some regulatory. We need to go to their website to learn what is the original requirement. So yeah, I would like to say be open, trying to learn the new things as much as you can, and never stop learning.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And then you talked about the balance and kind of there's a lot of tasks at hand for different roles. So, given the ever evolving nature of the financial industry and the constant changes that happen, how do you stay up with the latest trends, technologies, and best practices in the field of business architecture? And are there any resources or opportunities you would recommend to students who are interested in pursuing a career?
So yeah, for the IT folks, right? So there are a lot of resources that we can utilize. So one thing is YouTube. There are a lot of people, they are specialized in IT and finance, right? So you can subscribe those ones. And for myself, I'm very interested in all the high technology stuff, including cloud, AI, those kind of things. I subscribed one of the website or organization called Bright Talk. So from there, they are sharing a lot of high technology within the market right now. There will be speakers talking about all the fancy stuff, AI, cloud, etc. So yeah, I most likely subscribe them and watch their video to learn about the latest trend.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure many of our listeners will appreciate your tip on YouTube. A lot of us do use YouTube on our day-to-day lives. So, for the last few remarks and the last question, I'm going to pass the mic back to Sophie.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you, Yang, for all of those amazing insights. It was really interesting to hear your responses to all of those questions. So our last question for you today: what advice would you offer to high school and university students who have a keen interest in following a similar path to you?
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend my career path because there are a lot of challenges, right? My current role is kind of like the 13th role I'm having right now. So before this one, I tried all the different roles, including accounting, marketing team, right? So I wouldn't recommend to follow the same path as what I had before. But one thing that I would recommend is, life is a long journey. So you can have different paths, you probably face different challenges, right? So whenever you want to make a change to your life, always try to leverage what you currently have. What you currently have, it could be the courses or certificate you have completed. It could be the transferable skills or soft skills you have acquired in your previous roles. It could be the networking you have done before, right? So yeah, make sure that you know where you want to go and try to leverage as much as I can for the things that you currently have. It will be very helpful.
Definitely. That's great insight to all of our listeners to take their insights and their passions and follow those. So thank you for sharing that. And that concludes our last interview question for you today, Yang. Thank you so much for sharing all of your amazing career insights. We really appreciate having you here and thank you for your time.
Thank you.